Because sometimes you will be so addicted to education that you are allergic to execution. And I don't know who that was for, but a lot of y'all will sit and sit and sit. You might hire a coach. You might go through and do all of this research, but you're so addicted to the information. You're so addicted to getting the next best strategy that you don't even go out there and do nothing with the strategy that the coach even gave you to begin with, right? So don't be so addicted to education that you're allergic to execution. Like, you got to go out there and make some things shake. You got to go out there and actually put these strategies that these coaches and these experts and these things that you're finding on Google or the internet streets, you got to put that stuff to use in order to see what's going to work. Hey y'all, hey, it's Troyia Monay back to y'all with another video. Today's video, you guys, is super exciting. We are going to be doing a little chit chat. I'm going to be doing my makeup. I asked you guys to send me some questions over on my Instagram, and y'all sent me a ton of questions, so we're going to get into that. And then I also got a couple of topics that I want to talk to first, and then we'll hop into the questions since my last video. If you guys have not seen my last video, I'll have it linked up here. I gave you guys, I was very transparent. I was very vulnerable in that video, and a lot of people came to me and they were like, you sure you want people all in your business like that? Like, you know, are you sure you want to kind of like address those topics on the internet? And my answer was yes. I was very scared about being that vulnerable, especially talking about, you know, things that are going on behind the scenes as far as like my business, personal life, different things like that. But at the end of the day, like, me being vulnerable is only going to help someone else. And I feel like it was just such a selfless decision that I made in order to actually share that part of, you know, my business and everything like that. And it's something that I've been like teeter-tottering with, like, dang, should I have done that? But at the end of the day, every time I look at the comments and actually see you guys pour so much back into me, I'm like, yeah, like, let's do it. Let's talk about it. So make sure you guys go through and tune into that video. And as a result of that video, I've been getting a lot of questions about business. I've been getting a lot of questions about who should I hire first. I've been getting a lot of questions about the people that I should be hiring on my team first. Different things along those lines. So let's hop into that first. Who should be your first hire? Who should you hire first on your team? And let's talk about it. So I have a couple different views as it relates to hires. You guys know that right now, actually in like an hour, I have a interview with a virtual assistant, which I'm so excited about. And kudos to your girl. We made a bunch of new hires this week too on my team. So I am really excited about the direction that I'm going in within my business. So really excited about that. So in my opinion, I think the first person, it depends on the type of person you are. I think the first two people that you need to hire is, number one, a virtual assistant or a personal assistant. Virtual assistants are definitely going to be a lot cheaper because they are not physically there with you. However, personal assistants are really good, and that's something that I'm really trying to seek as a personal assistant. It's just that finding one here locally in Tampa has been a little difficult. But I know that if I actually go through and put like a job listing out, I'll definitely get a bunch of leads that'll help me with finding more of a personal assistant. So personal assistant, virtual assistant, this is going to be somebody who's going to help you with your non-revenue generating activities, basically, is the way that you want to think about this. Is you want to have someone on your team, especially when you are in a position to where you can hire too, that is going to help you with your non-revenue producing activities. And then you, as the CEO of your company, you need to be focused in on the revenue producing activities. And that's something that I'm very serious about this year, is spending less time answering emails, spending less time answering DMs and responding to comments. Like, I need to really be doing things that are going to be producing revenue within my business. So that is where I'm at right now, is making sure that I'm making smart hires and not just hiring different things on my team that I feel like I need help with right now. Basically, like, strategic hiring is pretty much where I am right now. So I definitely recommend that you hire a virtual assistant whenever you see it fit for your company. And you'll know, like, when you start feeling burnt out and you feel like you just don't have the capacity in order to do all the things that you need to do within your company, you'll know when it's time to hire. But another thing that I really recommend that you do too is before you hire anybody for any position, you need to at least know how to do that thing that you're trying to hire that person for, at least 90% of it. So if you don't know how to do emails, before you hire someone to do your emails, you need to make sure you know how to at least do the emails in a decent way, at least 90% correctly, or anything along those lines. Like, you don't want to just hire someone to do something that you don't know how to do, because if that person is on leave, or if they're sick, or if they're out of office, or if they're on vacation, now you have to wait until that person gets back in order for you to actually go through and get that thing fulfilled, or whatever it is that you're trying to go through and do. So at least know how to do whatever it is that you're trying to hire for before you hire for it, because you don't want to be in a situation to where you gotta wait for things to get done whenever that person returns. So that is how I would go through and differentiate whether or not it is time to hire. You will know. You will start feeling burnt out. You will feel like, you know, you got too much on your plate. And then also you'll know whether or not you will be able to afford it. So you have to first make sure that you're even able to afford the assistant before you go through and try to hire an assistant too. So if you can afford it, if you feel like you're being burnt out, and if you are generating revenue, I would hire one. If you are not generating revenue, I would not hire an assistant. You need to go through and spend some time in the streets, as I like to call it. You got to spend some time in them streets and then go through and hire your assistant a little bit later on. So that is how I would kind of go along those lines. So first things first, you're going to need a VA. That's the first one that I personally would hire. And then the second thing that I would definitely hire is a coach. You are going to need a coach. I don't care what anybody says. You're going to need a coach. And when you're looking for a coach, make sure that your coach has a coach, because anyone who doesn't have a coach does not deserve to be your coach. So you definitely want to make sure that you hire a coach. And the reason why you want to hire a coach is not because they're going to tell you exactly what you need to go through and do, but because they're going to hold you accountable. So anyone who's like in my program, they know that I hold my students very, very, very accountable. Every single week we meet in our program to go over any of the things that, you know, we're currently discussing as far as their modules. But you're definitely going to need someone to hold you accountable. You're going to need community. I'm a stan for David Shands, and he always says, friends don't let friends do entrepreneurship alone. And I think that that is so true. Like, you are going to need a community of people who are going to back you up. You're going to need some business besties. And that's why coaching programs are so important, especially group coaching programs. Everybody like want to do stuff one-on-one. And I'm like, no, you need to get in. You need to get some community. You need to get in an environment where there's other people who are like-minded just like you. Because sometimes you can't talk to your best friend about business. Sometimes you can't talk to your homegirl about the different things that you're working on as far as like building your brand. So you're going to need that extra support. You're going to need that community to help you as well. And another thing that I also want to talk to you guys about here too is, even if you do hire a coach, I think it's really important to make sure that you guys execute on the information that the coach is giving you. We got to stop right there. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, because sometimes you will be so addicted to education that you are allergic to execution. And I don't know who that was for, but a lot of y'all will sit and sit and sit. You might hire a coach. You might go through and do all of this research, but you're so addicted to the information. You're so addicted to getting the next best strategy that you don't even go out there and do nothing with the strategy that the coach even gave you to begin with, right? So don't be so addicted to education that you're allergic to execution. Like, you got to go out there and make some things shake. You got to go out there and actually put these strategies that these coaches and these experts and these things that you're finding on Google or the internet streets, you got to put that stuff to use in order to see what's going to work. And I think this is something that I talked to with the ladies in my program about like a few weeks ago. We talked about really making sure that we tap into figuring out what works and what doesn't work before we tap into making the sale. A lot of y'all want to make sales, but you don't even know what worked and what didn't work in order for you to make the sale in the first place. Now you can't even go through and duplicate the strategy that you did. So now you're in this whole limbo of a bunch of different things. So yeah, do the work, all in all, do the work. Worry about the result later on. Oh my goodness, I can talk about that all day. But yes, I think that that's really important. Another thing that I think is really important as it relates to hiring is to try a bunch of different things until you actually figure out what it is that you want to do. I'm over here dropping stuff. Figure out what is it that you want to do. Do you want to start this boutique business? Do you want to start a hair care company? Do you want to start selling extensions and clip-ins and bundles? Figure out what it is that you want to do, and don't be afraid to try things out and test it out. Like, one thing that I'm an avid for is I love trying new things, and I am in no way, shape, or form embarrassed to fail when I am trying new things, because I'm still young. And those of you guys who may be a little bit older, that doesn't mean anything either, right? Like, don't be afraid to go out there, try new things. Try this business, jump into it, try to educate yourself on it, and after you educate yourself on it, you'll probably find out, oh, this may not be the business for me, and that's okay. Like, I don't know why people are in this mindset of, oh my goodness, I started this business, and since I started this business, I can't jump into any other lane or avenue, or I can't switch up whatever it is that I'm doing. Switch it up. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I love my mindset. I love the fact that I do not care what anyone thinks of any of the things that I'm doing, because guess what? This is the life that I have to live. You don't got to live this life. Right? So if I start this business and it doesn't work out, awesome. You know, it was a lesson learned for me. And I think that's the thing too, is we're so consumed of what people are going to think, what people are going to say. Just do it, girl. Who cares? Because guess what? They're going to talk whether it's successful. They're going to talk whether it failed. So my motto is give the folks something to talk about. Okay? So definitely go out there, try new things. Some things that you might go through and do might work. Some things that you might go through may not work. And I think the thing is that we're so consumed with perfection, and we're so consumed with, you know, not knowing things aren't working on the back end. So for example, like, I'm pretty sure if Jeff Bezos and all the other billionaires in the world are coming up with strategies every single day, and they're going out there and they're trying to implement these strategies, and some of the strategies may work, some of the strategies may not work, and I think that that is completely okay. It's all a learning lesson for all of us as it relates to us building our businesses and growth and different things like that. So I feel like I kind of went all over the place with that, but I just think that it's important to know about like hiring and different things along those lines. I know I kind of like bounced all over the place. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys want me to do more of like a detailed video of all about like hiring, who to hire, how to hire, how to find a coach, what types of coach to go through and hire to. I think I'll love to do a video on that as well, because I recently hired a coach. Probably, it actually wasn't that recent, in the summer of last year, and it was the best decision I ever made in my entire life. By far, the best decision I ever made in my entire life was hiring my coach. So definitely I'll be sure to give you guys a video on that. Next thing I kind of wanted to talk about, I don't know if I'm gonna get to these Instagram questions, because I got some juicy topics that you guys have been sending me, and maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video as well. But I really want to talk to you guys about managing multiple businesses and why I do not recommend it. I don't recommend it at all, unless you have the capacity to do it, and if your businesses are not demanding. I don't recommend it at all. And the reason why is because you guys probably seen in my last video how I was talking about me running my boutique. Also I talked about me running my coaching business, me having YouTube. I don't care what nobody say, YouTube is a full-time job. Like, especially when you build up your traction, especially when you become a YouTube partner, especially when you're trying to take it serious. YouTube is a whole full-time job. It literally probably took me, what, 30 minutes to sit up here, set up all the lights, make my bed, because sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't, just being transparent, and like make my atmosphere look nice. It probably look a little crazy behind the camera and the lights. Make sure my camera's charged. Like, it's a whole thing. And I think that people think that, oh, you're just turning on the camera and you're just talking. No, honey, that is a full-time job. And especially when you start adding on partnerships and different things along those lines, it becomes a full-time job. So I'm excited to share with you guys that I recently am in the process of hiring a influencer manager. So I'm really excited about that, because I really want to take my content creation to a whole new level, because I'm actually seeing the benefits of it now more than ever. So this is definitely something that I want to do a little bit more in the future as well. So yes, running multiple businesses, you guys, I highly don't recommend it. It is ghetto. Don't do it. I don't care what nobody say. Just focus on one business at a time. I don't know whatever your situation is. If you feel like you have the capacity to do it, go for it. But you might be in a situation where you soon realize that it actually isn't that great. Especially like when you're first starting out, I would say that. I'm not going to tell you guys to not run multiple businesses. Let me rephrase what I'm trying to say. When you're first starting out in business, wait until one business gets off the ground and then go through and launch. My camera's rude, it cut off on me. But yeah, that is my views there, you guys. Is you can do anything, but you cannot sit up here and do everything. Like, it just isn't possible, okay? My eyebrows coming out trash, but we gonna get it together. Next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, I think I answered, oh, delay does not equal failure. So if you feel like, you know, right now you're in a season where you're not getting the sales that you want to see, you feel like you're delayed, you feel like you're doing all that you can within your business, that does not mean to shut the business down. That does not mean to scale back. If anything, that should go through and motivate you and kind of push you just a little bit harder in order for you to actually go through and reach your goals. I don't know why people get sad, fright, and want to quit when things are not going the way that they want them to go. And I think we also have to realize that anything worth having does not come easy. It's not gonna come easy, right? Like, you gotta go through and put in the work. Like, just like I was talking to you guys about earlier, the work not gonna work if you don't work it. The work not gonna work unless you work it. You gotta put some work into the work in order to see the results that you want to go through and see. And I think that it's so important for us to make sure that we're being consistent as it relates to our businesses. How can you expect people to come through and to support your brand time and time again when you're not even showing up consistently within your brand? To be honest, I don't probably want to go through and shop with you if you're not being the most consistent, right? So definitely go through and make sure that you guys are showing some consistency. And one of my favorite quotes is actually by Kanye West's mom in his documentary. She talked about consistency, and I'm gonna link it right here. Hey y'all, hey, editing Troyia here. I noticed that I cannot find the clip of Kanye, so I went all the way on my TV to Netflix just so I can show y'all this clip. This clip, I feel like, literally changed my life when I was watching this documentary. And if you haven't watched it yet, you gotta tune into it. So let's just play it. It is the Genius documentary on Netflix. So let me play the clip for y'all.
Somebody gotta do it. You play tracks like Michael Jordan, shoot free throws. Anybody does something that much and that long and it's that good, it's gotta pay off. Can't go there and do nothing but blow up. Isn't that fun?
Like, did y'all hear what she just said? When you do something that long, that good, it's gotta pay off. Like, it's gotta blow up. So keep going, right? Like, keep getting better and better at the things you're doing. Keep working at it. Keep doing it. It has to blow up. It has to. Like, it doesn't make any other sense but not to. So I'm gonna leave that with y'all. For you guys to go through and to watch it. And I think that it was definitely still one of my favorite aspects of that entire movie. How she was talking about, you know, when you continuously do something time and time again and you really put work into it, like, something good has to come out of it. Like, you can't just sit here and do something for so long consistently and not get a result from it. And I think the thing is that you guys are probably missing from what she said is when you're doing something consistently over and over and over again, you have to become better at it. You can't just consistently do something the same way and expect different results. Like, that is actually called insanity. So yeah, that is definitely another one of my favorite, like, topics, quotes, things that I got from Kanye West and his mom as well. So I'm gonna answer a few questions from the Q&A. I'm almost done with my makeup, actually. I'm gonna keep it light today. I'm not really trying to do the most. So let me see. Let's answer a question. Tips to pick things up when your business is dead. So if you feel like your business is dead, we just kind of talked about this right now, is you got to figure out how to make it alive. right? Like if you know this business is dead, folks saying, you know, shopping with me, how can I go through and kind of turn this into a learning lesson? Or what can I do in order to get some traction on here, right? So I think that that's something really important too. So what are the things, really analyze, I think is really important too. Really analyze, what are you doing right now? Write down everything that you're doing right now that is not working. A lot of times, a lot of y'all don't even know what's working. I mean, what's not working. You got to figure out what's not working. And then we got to put in a strategy together so we can figure out what is working. I think is another really great thing that we can all go through and do there too. So I would do that. Another thing that I would really recommend you to do too, sis, is join my Hustleaholics Anonymous community. That's my monthly membership community where I help women just like you launch, grow, and scale their businesses. And I think that that's also another really great thing to make sure that you're a part of as well, is join communities. Whether it's my community, whether it's another coach's community, you need to be a part of something that's going to help keep you grounded so you have continued support in all of the different areas and aspects of growing your brand and your business. So hopefully that was helpful. We got to figure out why the business is dead first, and then go through and do some research on different strategies and methods that you can use to help alleviate the death situation of your business. This is another really great question, is will I be doing a meet and greet at Magic this year? I will be going to Magic. I'm only going for one day though, so I don't think that I'm going to be doing a meet and greet. But if you see me, say, hey girl, hey. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing a meet and greet this year for Magic, but I do have something special that I really want to do in August for Magic. It's just that time got the best of me this year. Like time really came and got the best of me. So if you see me at Magic, say hey girl, hey. But no, I will not be doing a meet and greet this year. Last year I did a meet and greet at, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it was real nice. So yeah. Next question is, how do you find spots to do content? I'm actually going to be taking this a lot more serious and actually showing you guys how I find spots to do content. What I usually try to do is when I am just out driving anywhere, I'm always looking around to see where's my next best content opportunity. And I think that that's something that you guys should be doing. Like when you're driving in your car, look around, look to see, okay, oh, I could probably take a couple pictures there, or I could probably take some pictures here. Another thing that I like to do is I like to take advantage of downtown. Downtown usually in every city for the most part has some beautiful scenery. So I love going to downtown Tampa. Sometimes I'm just there driving to like the mall or something, and I look out my window, okay, cool, that's a perfect spot, or boom, that's a perfect spot. It's really not as hard as you think that it is. You just have to make sure that when you're driving and when you're doing like your everyday tasks, that you're paying attention to the areas around you to see where a next best content opportunity might be. So I think that that is it, you guys, for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was some great insight to some things that you can do to take your business to the next level. I will be putting my lip gloss on. I will be doing a part 2 to this video with a bunch more information, answering some more of you guys' questions, and that video will be posted next week. So make sure you guys go through and like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully this wasn't too crazy and random. I was just rambling throughout the whole video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for some more amazing content coming up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.